to start it off, what discovery ads are, they're a new ad or a new ad campaign type that Google created where they show up in three locations. So your Google discovery feed, which is if you go to your Google homepage at the bottom, you'll notice that there's a feed of things that you might be interested in, and it's based on your searches. And so what they usually do is serve blog posts
When you
and
say
other.
Google homepage, can you be more specific on a computer, on a phone, on a
Uh,
Chrome?
either it should be either. I'm
Mine
trying to
doesn't
get it
have
to
that.
discover feed. Oh, apparently, yeah, it's more for it's on the mobile. G- So if you go to Google on your phone and you scroll down, because last Q&A, Pip has showed an
Now
example
I
of what it looked like.
remember, and we spoke
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Pixel
yeah,
phone.
yeah. And so a Pixel has one by default as the furthest left window that you can get. So if you go as far as you can left, it'll be a discovery feed. But it's also a way for them to show it on other devices as well. And so the other spot is going to be YouTube. They're a little unclear on the placement. They're kind of vague about it in a lot of ways, just because they don't. I think that they do swap it out with Performance Max, which is their smart campaigns. And then the most important one, I think, is the Gmail ads, which are usually dominated by they always show up in the promotions tab of your Gmail inbox, and they'll have a little thing that says ad. They're usually in the first four, but I've seen them in the actual like a set of emails looking like a regular email as well. Um, and typically there's a lot of e-commerce people that wind up doing it because they just set up a Performance Max campaign for e-commerce, and then it will show your stuff everywhere. And so you don't really have much control over it that way. There are some limitations that are weird and annoying that Pip, you're going to be much more interested in this part is going to be you can't adjust the ad rotation, the frequency cap, meaning how many times does someone see an ad, the delivery method, the device targeting, the placement targeting. So you can't just say, I only want to show up in Gmail. They're going to say, yeah, you're going to be showing up for all three of these platforms, whether you like it or not.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The
Only
Performance Max.
it but you have way more control over the ad itself than a Performance
Ah,
Max. Yeah, Performance Max is you give them a set of assets and then and a web page that you want to send traffic to, and then they do like even the ad copy. So it's very smart campaign. Um so the or the discovery ads they're also much more visual than and a lot more they're meant to be a more engaging version of a display ad is how the pitch is from Google. And so it's has a visual element, and it's usually supposed to be um I'm gonna mute you guys on that one. Sorry. One sec. All right. That's good. Sorry, I just had to mute Slack because you guys were sending messages.
don't know who that was.
Yeah, you know who it is. All right. And okay, things that you're gonna need a landing page with an email sign up. Mine still needs some tweaking for the landing page, but this is more going to be focused on the campaign and setting up the campaign and things to pay attention to when you're setting up the campaign. You'll still want to have a list of keywords because we're going to set up an audience based on the Google search terms. We've done audiences based on in market, so they've searched for things relevant to a group. This one we're actually going to do it people who have been Googling certain things, and that's what's going to identify them as being in market. And so we have much more control and it's much more targeted that way. We can have 5 logos, 20 images, and then you'll want 5 descriptions and 5 headlines. And so, with all that in mind, we're going to go over to creating the campaign. So, obviously, we're going to be logged in to your Google Ads account. Oh, one other thing I forgot to leave a note about. You're going to want a single a unique conversion. So what it looks like is to make sure that it's very targeted. Don't give the campaign multiple goals. You give it one goal that I want this conversion to be the one thing that you're focusing on. And apparently, yeah, if you give it more than one, it gets weird, apparently, from when I was doing research on this campaign type. So we're going to go new campaign in the blue button, top left-hand corner. And in this case, I'm going to do leads because I want an email sign up. So mine's going to have a giveaway that's attached to this. And so what I'm going to do is have the pick leads. And then I'm going to remove this one. And then, oh, that's, okay. So we want one action type and then it's got two actions. And this way, yeah, this one you could see, come on, it had the gold. Come on. When you get it to do something and it repeat that action. But I have it as, there we go. So we've got the on-page SEO guide sign up as the goal for this one, for the action. So we're going to hit continue. From there, yeah, we've got all of these options. In our case, we're going to go discovery, runs ads on the discovery feed, YouTube, Gmail, and more, which is the and more is always a bit annoying, but that's fine. Ooh. And then, and so it's my landing page. I was just fixing a bug with the MailerLite sign up that was going. So it's not showing up just yet, but I still want to copy the URL into the campaign. And then page SEO guide giveaway. So this way, generally, though, when I was doing research on discovery ads, the big one was going to be with the campaign naming type. You want it named around the action you want someone to take. And so in this case, I want people to sign up to the guide. I'm going to start a new campaign. Of course, this one hasn't been, I haven't done the testing because I just created the action, but you'll definitely want to test that. In my case, I'm going to be doing targeting for United States and Canada because that's where most of our audience is. Language, you can pick sticking with English as it's easier to focus on. And yeah, this one's going to be doing, you only have conversions as the target bidding. Because remember, that's one of the limitations that it has was delivery method. And I'm going to guess that also fits under the bidding strategy as well, is that it's super limited to just conversions. And spend $1 a day. And of course, they're suggesting that I set it to $68.77 a day, which is not what I want to spend for that. And we'll go to more settings. And so we've got, it's a very limited on what we can set up for the additional settings, because sometimes we've done that frequency cap would be in here. The PIP, what's the other one? Oh, ad rotation. So doing it for having indefinitely roll over and try different combinations. The one part that you can control in this that's interesting is discovery. Yeah, it will naturally pick its own content exclusions. And so we don't get to pick. Again, that's going back to the placement targeting. That's what that is. And so maybe you don't want to show up for certain topics. You want it very G or PG. So that would be the spot to select those. But this one, the account level exclusions don't apply here, and they're just going to by default make it so it's PG, I think is how it was described. Some mature themes, but nothing too racy. And that's mostly because of the discovery feed itself is also not going to let you see certain topics anyway, so you don't have to worry there. So this is where we get to do the most of the targeting outside of the copy itself. And so in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to add an audience. I'm going to create a new audience to show you what that looks like. And so you click on that in the top right hand corner to build a new audience. So we're going to give it a name. In this case, I'm going to call it page SEO. I don't know. Do you want learning in there, Pip? Because I want to focus around like education. So
Well, the audience, okay, yeah, isn't it GA4 or?
no, we're creating the audience based on search terms.
Okay, on page SEO, let's,
Yeah. So in this case, what we'll do is so you can do, like Pip was just saying, you can do similar audiences. So you could do similar to people who've already visited your website. And you can also combine these. I'm not going to be combining them for this one, or I guess for just to show you guys what it looks like, I'll do that part. And so custom segments, I'm going to do, oh, helps if I spell correctly, on page SEO. And we could do learning on page SEO. So these are going to be what they've searched, the search activity. You can also do apps and sites visited. So, if maybe you want people that go to Search Engine Journal as a website. So that's a targeted audience for us. So that would be people that are learning SEO. But in this case, we want people that are a bit more beginner. So just learning it as generally they're just searching Google and looking for people. I'm just going to move this. The other part that's interesting as well is you'll notice here that it's got a bunch of targeting details in here as well that they're showing you that it's already going to, just in that one, is going to make it 52% male. And a third of it is between 25 to 34. Top interests, email marketing, SEO services, and domain registration. So it gives you some interesting details on just that, just looking at that part. So that's going to be a already built segment. Sorry, so what you want to do is click on new custom segment there. And then inside of that, this segment is going to be called learn. And so this is where we're going to put in the search terms that we want people to be looking up. So on page SEO for website, on page SEO optimization. Let's see if there's another good one. And these are just things that people have Googled. So there may not be exactly what you're looking for. So you may want to experiment with adding new. This very similar to Facebook. You can do, it will be able to expand. And then these are just keywords here. You can also do it based on purchase interests, but this way has a lot more control over what you're showing up for. And like I said, you can do browse people by websites, and then you can paste in a URL. You can also do it apps, and they have to be apps that are in the Google Play Store, obviously, because Google's going to know who's downloaded what. So in this case, I'm going to click save, and then it's going to do some thinking, and it's going to spit back some information. So it thinks it has 4.7 million people, 1.1 to 5 million people. And then we can also add I'm going to add a similar segment. So I want similar people to, similar to everyone is 0, apparently. That's an interesting group. Okay. And so these ones aren't building the list because you'll notice that it's got 0. Or no, it does have a size. Where's this number coming from then? Okay, so you can see that they already given us an error. This is too small to use for a discovery campaign. So it's going to be too small. So we can't use any of the similar audiences because it hasn't built up enough of a grouping, but that's how you would add it. And that also helps you with finding people that have Googled a certain thing and then also are similar to people who are already visiting your website. So it's just a way of narrowing down Of course, we narrowed it down a little too much. And so they're saying that the audience is going to be too small overall. And then we're just going to hit save because now we've got our audience. And so we've done people that are searching for on page SEO. And then we'll have it checked off that we're going to use optimized targeting. And then that way we'll be able to, they're going to see they're going to do a bunch of AI stuff in the background. The other thing we'll see over on the right hand side here is that it has roughly the estimates on who we're targeting. And then it's also going to have the performance, and it's going to give a general based on giving them $1 a day. We're expected to have 20 to 70 clicks, which I think is pretty generous. I don't know about you, Pip, but that seems for $1 a day, it definitely would be worth it. So it definitely has a bit more of the display campaign click-through rate, which is something I didn't find any benchmarks on what to expect for click-through rates, but I think it's going to be similar to display to expect less than 1% of people that see it to actually click. And so now you can see that we've gone from targeting, we're now down to ads and ad creation. They've already taken the page that we want to show up for. And we're going to see, and then there's going to be images in here. And then I've already got a bunch of images loaded. You can also see that when you select it, it will by default select 2 ratios. And in this case, they've selected 3 because unlike the display, out of the way, unlike display, there are 3 options for the cropping. And I believe this narrow tall one is for discovery itself. That was my understanding. Yeah, the 4 out of 5. And you can adjust it to adjust where the cropping goes so that and make sure that it fits within it. Then we'll select this. And so
Will you
also
do the
gonna pick-
website or social and see what it pulls up?
Sure. Of course, I just
Beside the app,
you
right?
yeah, but I had all my Zoom stuff up at the top there. And so I
Oh.
just moved it up there. So we can do scan these. And it's also scanned the page itself, right? So it took the page. So you might have graphics that you've put on the page itself that you might want to utilize.
Want to do the whole site?
I don't know if it'll do it. It does individual pages. So I'll try scanning homepage, see what we get.
Cool.
So maybe this one.
Yeah.
And then you can also upload them manually, which is that's always an option. And then free stock images if you really need something, if you're desperate to get something. Generally, of course, the free stock, they've done tests. I found that apparently, even if you A/B test it, the free stock images just don't do as well because they're just too generalized. And then, oh, I did something stupid there. I did it last night. I downloaded the another image I wanted to upload, but I did that to my laptop. Yeah, I'm gonna pick this one. Just some nice graphics that are all related to SEO, just to convey that. So I've got 10. Definitely, the more the better for this as well. You're also going to want to just below it. There's going to be the logo that you get to pick, and you can have 5. And just going to pick these 2. They're our logo. And then you'll naturally want to write 5 headlines because they are going to do some ad rotation stuff. And so you're going to want to have on page.
I like that they gamify it with the ad strength as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice touch to give you, and then also to let you gamify it by filling up the little bubbles. And it's like, oh, you've done a little bit of the images. Maybe you want to add some more. And so I've got some headlines that I'd written out.
40.
Yeah, they it's weird the lengths that they'll allow, because YouTube only allows like 15 characters for the headline. It's something just
I would on page guide on page what download on page SEO I would put on page together with a hyphen. Not that takes away any.
I was just going to say that doesn't do anything for the character. And obviously put in your business name, and I'm going to put in 2 descriptions. Of course, they might have other descriptions that they might suggest to you. Yeah, we don't need to do anything with the ad URLs. So I did hear something, Pip, about we got to look into the ad URLs. Apparently, for these more automated ones, apparently there's a trick you can do that fills in this template part with a variable, so you can actually track based on what ad. But I have to look into that a bit more. Obviously, if you do want to have a different URL that's for mobile, you can put that in. Generally, you should just have your landing page, no matter what, be mobile friendly. And just use that one, unless there's something super specific. And I'm going to pick the call to action. I'm going to pick download. And then you can see over here as well, we can, did they have a, they show you like, this is the YouTube home feed. This is the YouTube watch feed. So they're giving you examples of how it's going to look. Watch feed. So this is what it looks like when you open up the email inside of Gmail. And then this one, what is, oh, this is the second Gmail type. And come on, it's being difficult. And then you could also see it, how it would look on.
It looks like
On
you
the
can
desktop.
add video. Can you add video too? Look at the little
No,
play
it's
button beside the 2 arrows besides all properties. Oh, play preview.
yeah. It's them cycling through a carousel of what it looks like, all the different types. I had it paused while I was just trying to manually do it. What's going on? Okay.
I just work here.
Yeah, fair enough. And gonna hit review. So there's one where they're being a little cheeky, where they would like us to bid $68 a day, which is not going to happen. And then none of the goals are going to get measured properly. And so we just got to check this one. They're going to ask us to troubleshoot the new goal. And so we'd be working through with the Peg Assistant, though it should be, if it's unverified, it should not have given us that error message. And of course, it'll keep everything in a draft, this campaign.
Did they make it able so you could send a link to your client to review the ads?
Ooh,
They only do that with display so far.
yeah, that's a
Great question.
Yeah, it's a good question. Sorry, just move it. Publish. So this is the other interesting part that I found when you're setting these up, is that they didn't let us name the ad group. So distinguishing the different ad groups, because I don't even know if,
Yeah, you go over to the middle, like in the middle of the screen
I'm-
where the blue hyperlink text is. See if you can. There.
yeah, but while you're setting up the campaign, they don't let you name it. You have to do it after the fact, which is annoying. So the distinction. So just so you guys are aware, the distinction between the ad groups is very similar to what we did with the display, where it's going to be based on audiences. So different ad groups are going to be different audiences. So you can have, I'm just trying to spitball, people who want to learn on-page SEO, people who want to hire an SEO might be a different ad group that you would do. And so you would distinguish them based on what they're searching for in Google. And that's how you would differentiate them. even if he had similar ads, but it also enables you to make different ads that are targeted to that audience as well. So yeah, that's I'm let's see about Pip what you asked about. Oh,
Yeah.
woo. Yeah, it looks like what Pip was talking about you can do where they'll generate a link to an external preview so that the client can review what it's going to look like, and then they can also see the different feeds and see how it would perform or how it would look on different platforms. So if they've got, it's kind of weird that they let it cut off that much. Like the different properties, they just cuts it right off. So it's like, what's the point of writing all the extra words if they're just going to cut it off? And so this will just give you and your clients a way to kind of look through it. I think oh, it's weird. I don't get why they say open, close. Oh, okay. So this is what it looks like as if you were in your inbox. This is what it would look like. So it's a CMAR Digital Media ad. It's got some info, and then the title of the email, and then a little preview of the description. And so that's what that will look like. Do you guys? I know that one was a little short. It's definitely one where getting through these type of campaigns is a lot of it's done ahead of time. So writing your copy, getting your images, setting up your landing page, the actual build of the ads themselves is pretty straightforward. The hard part is, of course, prepping it and getting it ready for building the actual campaign itself.